Hey there, let's make a pizza using AutoGen 0.4 and later versions. In this video, we're going to go over the three types of communication workflows within AutoGen: RoundRobinGroupChat, SelectorGroupChat, and finally, Swarm. And what better way to demonstrate how agents can complete a task as a team than by creating a little virtual pizzeria. Now each agent will have a specific job. We'll have a dough maker, a sauce specialist, and a toppings expert. And they'll all work together to make me a delicious pizza. Once you get these patterns, everything else about AutoGen becomes way easier to understand. For this video, I'm guessing you've already got everything set up on your machine. But if you haven't, don't worry, just check out my earlier video where I walk through all of the basics so you can start in no time. You'll find the link in the description below. Okay, let's dive in. So to build our first pizza, we're going to have three agents: the dough chef, the sauce chef, and the toppings chef. And to demonstrate the first workflow, we're going to go with RoundRobinGroupChat. And this means that there's going to be a specific sequence that the agents are going to talk to each other. And you're going to see how it's going to work in a few minutes. So let's set up our agents. And I'm just going to start with the dough chef. So I'm going to do dough chef equals assistant agent. Again, I'm going to assume that you're familiar with AutoGen just a little bit. Again, if you haven't started with AutoGen yet, you just want to know more, make sure to check my starter video. The link is in the description. All right, so assistant agent, I'm going to need to import this. So I'm going to do from AutoGen agent chat agents import assistant agent. And while we're here, let me bring in agent chat teams. I'm going to import first the RoundRobinGroupChat, and then we're going to do SelectorGroupChat Swarm. We're going to use those later, but you can set those up right now. One more thing that I want to do is I'm going to import the text mention termination, and I'm going to use this to end the workflows for all three demos that I'm going to do today. So let's do this right now, and you'll see how it works later. So we'll do from AutoGen agent chat conditions import text mention termination. Okay, there are other termination conditions that you can do. We'll talk about this a little bit later. So let's go back to our dough chef. So we'll give it a name. It's going to be dough chef. Then we're going to give it a system message. And the system message is really what the agent is supposed to do. You kind of give it some instructions. So we're going to say you are a pizza dough chef. You must choose a dough type for the pizza. Okay, do not handle the sauce or the toppings. We're going to do other agents for these things. And respond with dough ready, dough type. One more thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to pass in the model client parameter. And for this example, I'm going to use OpenAI GPT-4o. I have it set up here. I also have a video about using Ollama with AutoGen natively. You'll see how you can set up Ollama and then how you can use the Ollama chat completion client instead of the OpenAI chat completion client that we're using now. In any case, we're going to go with OpenAI client. So this is our first agent, and it's pretty simple. We're going to do the same thing for the sauce chef. So let me copy paste this and do sauce chef. And then you are a pizza sauce chef. You must choose a sauce type for the pizza. Do not handle the dough or the toppings. Respond with sauce ready, sauce type. And obviously I know that this is not a production example or anything like that, but the goal of this video is to show you how these workflows work. And you're going to see exactly how the conversation flows from one agent to another using the RoundRobinGroupChat, SelectorGroupChat, and Swarm. So let me continue, and I'm going to do the last agent here. And this guy's going to handle our toppings. So again, we're going to do the same thing. Toppings chef. Now, obviously you can add in tools here if you want to. So if you're using tools, you can create your own tools and pass them, but we're not going to do this in this video. So let's do, you are a pizza toppings chef. You must choose toppings. We want more than one for the pizza. Do not handle the dough or the sauce. Respond with toppings. Actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say respond with the list of ingredients. Then say pizza ready. Okay, cool. So we have our 3 agents, and now we can put them together into a team. So let's do team equals RoundRobinGroupChat, and we can say dough chef, sauce chef, toppings chef. Then we can add in our termination condition. Let me do termination condition equals termination. Now we have to define this termination variable, and this is going to be simply termination equals text mention termination. And here we just define the string that will terminate this workflow. So if you notice, we asked the toppings chef to list the ingredients of the pizza and then say pizza ready. So we can use this as an indicator that the workflow is done. In a production environment or in your specific use case, you would want something that ends the workflow as well to stop the conversation between the agents. So let's do termination equals text mention termination, pizza ready. So whenever this pops up, the workflow is going to automatically stop. Again, like I said, there are other termination methods like max turns. You can specify the number of turns for the team and other things. I'm going to leave a link in the description for the official Microsoft documentation so you can take a look at the different options that you have. For this tutorial, we're just going to keep it like this. So termination, team, we're good to go. We can actually start and run this team. Let me do the wait console team.run stream, and then we pass in our task. Make me a pizza. By the way, this console here is part of this UI component, and this lets you output the conversation to the console. Okay, so I'm going to save and let's give this a shot. Main.py. All right, cool. Let's take a closer look. So first you can see that the user says, which is me, make me a pizza. This is our task. Okay. Then we go to the dough chef, and in a round robin group chat, the conversation is going to start with the first agent that we specify here. And then after this agent is done, it's going to jump to the sauce chef. So as you can see, the dough chef recommends a dough, and then automatically the sauce chef is next, and it's recommending a marinara sauce, which is fine. Step number 3 is our toppings chef. So this is how this works. It's really simple. There's no logic. So it's one agent after the other. Dough chef, sauce chef, and then toppings chef. As you can see, finally we have the toppings chef. It listed the toppings. So we have mozzarella, basil leaves, and then red pepper flakes. It says pizza ready. And you can see that the conversation ended automatically once this string showed up here. That's because we asked the toppings chef to say pizza ready when it's done, and then we're using this string here as a text termination, which is passed here. Okay? Now, if we flip this, so if we say, let's go with the sauce chef first, the dough chef second, so as you can see, with this setup, the sauce chef goes first after the user input, then this guy, and finally the toppings chef. Okay, that's cool. Now, obviously the process always starts with the dough, so let's bring this guy back. Okay, now I want to show you the second workflow, which is the selector group chat. So we're going to keep everything the same, except this time I'm going to add a description to my agents. And this description is going to help the selector within this selector group chat to decide which agent needs to speak next. And the way this works is that the team now has a special agent, if you want, that will look at the tasks and then it's going to choose which agent goes next. So this is not a sequential workflow like the one we did just now. This time there's someone else, like a third party, that's looking at the conversation and it's deciding which agent needs to speak. So let's specify the descriptions. For the dough chef, I'm going to say description handles all things related to choosing the pizza dough. Okay. Next, we're going to do the same thing for this guy. Sauce. And next, the toppings. Okay, now let's change this and say Selector Group Chat. Okay, now the Selector Group Chat requires a large language model to be able to choose the agent and apply the logic. This Selector Group Chat is looking at the conversation, like I said, and then it's using the large language model to make a decision on the next agent that goes and speaks next. So to assign a model, we can simply say model client, OpenAI client, or whatever other client that you're using. Again, just a reminder, you can use Olama or other clients. I have another video, it's in the description, so if you're using that, make sure to check it out. Okay, let's try to run this, and it's going to be the same thing. So I'm just going to clear the console. I'm going to do Python main.py. All right, so as you can see, we have the same thing as before, essentially. The user says, make me a pizza, then dough chef goes first, sauce chef, and then toppings chef. Now, if we flip them, so let's do sauce chef, toppings, and then dough chef. Okay, so can you see the difference now? It still chose the dough chef to go first, even though it's not the first agent in our participants here, which is fine, by the way, because whatever, I mean, you can choose the dough first, and then you can, do the sauce and then the toppings later. So the logic here is essentially delegated to the Selector Group Chat. Okay, that's cool. Now I'm going to show you how you can customize the logic that the Selector Group Chat uses to choose the agent. And there's this prompt that it uses, which is called the Selector prompt. And we can specify our own custom Selector prompt by doing Selector prompt. And then inside of that, we can say something like, based on the agent descriptions and the current context, select the most appropriate agent to handle the task. And we can pass in this variable, so roles, and then current conversation, conversation history, or context history. Select one agent from participants to handle the task. Okay, so if we want to customize things a little bit, we can do a custom logic. For example, a pizza always starts with the sauce, dough, and finally the toppings. Okay, even though our order of agents is like this, so dough, sauce, toppings, we just said that the pizza always starts with the sauce for some reason. So let me add this here. Selector prompt. So now the Selector Group Chat is going to use this prompt to make its decision every time. Let's run this, and I'm expecting the agents to start first with the sauce chef, then the dough chef, and then the toppings chef, just like we instructed it. Okay, exactly. As you can see, sauce chef, dough, toppings, and then pizza ready, and the conversation is terminated. Now, I hope this is clear. Again, I know the example might not apply in real life, but it just shows you how these different conversation patterns work. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to say, make me a vegetarian or vegan pizza. Let's see. So we have marinara, whole wheat, vegan cheese, bell peppers, onion, spinach. Okay, that's cool. I'm I'm going to keep this the same. I'm just going to switch this to Swarm now, and I'm going to show you how Swarm works. So I'm just going to comment this out. I'm going to keep the same termination, and I'm going to keep the same everything else. So I'm not going to touch anything. I just want to tell you that Swarm essentially gives the agents the ability to hand off tasks to one another. So instead of having a selector group chat or a selection mechanism within the team, each agent is responsible of delivering its own task and then handing off tasks that it can't do to specialized agents. So this could be one or more agents. And the way this works is we specify a handoff parameter to each agent. And let me show you how this works. So first I'm going to do dochef is our dochef. We don't need the description, so we can remove this from here. And I can say something like handoffs. Okay, the dochef will hand off to the sauce chef. Okay. And the sauce chef is going to hand off to the toppings chef. And this guy is not going to hand off to anyone. Essentially, like I said, the difference here is that this guy can choose the dough, but it's unable to choose the sauce itself. But it has this handoff parameter here with a sauce chef assigned. This means that when it reaches the stage that it needs to do the sauce, it's going to move this to the sauce chef. And the same thing is going to happen with the sauce chef. It's going to move this toppings task to the toppings chef. All right. Now we're going to keep the same thing again. So pizza ready is our termination. Same thing here. We're going to change this to Swarm. And we don't need this selector prompt. We don't even need the model client because again, each agent is making its own decision. So let me run this and see what happens. Make me a vegan pizza. Actually, let's go with a regular pizza. So make me a pizza. Okay, so if you take a closer look, you can see that there are some function executions happening behind the scenes. And let's see what those are. So first you have the user, which again is me, make me a vegan pizza. Well, I didn't save the file, so let me save, run it again. Okay, first comes in the dochef, and then it says thin crust. Now you can see that internally the dochef, using the handoff mechanism, decides to transfer to the sauce chef. And you can see the result, transfer to sauce chef, adopting the role of sauce chef immediately. As you can see, this is the response here. Then the sauce chef comes in. And the main or the key difference here is that this agent decided to delegate this task to the next agent, just like we specified. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, let me know in the comments, but I think it should be pretty clear. The same thing is happening with the sauce chef like we did before, finally going to the toppings chef, which does the whole thing again and says pizza ready, and our termination condition kicks in. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to move the sauce chef here. And can you guess what's going to happen now? So let me run this. So we started with the sauce chef. Then we directly went to the toppings chef, skipping the dough. And this is because this is the first agent to start the conversation. So the dough chef was not called at any time. Sauce went directly to toppings, and then toppings ended the conversation. Okay, so you need to keep this in mind also, how you structure your participants within the team to have your workflow set up properly. And make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.